This is episode 45. You got myself here, Aaron. Over to you, Paul.
Episode 45. They said we'd never make it. So, we have been working hard on change requests version 2 here in Street Manager Towers, and it is a strange one, really. It's not some glamorous new feature that we want to show off. It's life might not potentially change too much for users day to day, but it solves a number of bugs and problems and things that people raised issues with and caused performance issues. So we might talk about some of them later, or we might talk about them as we go. But firstly, I'm very pleased to introduce senior software engineer on the project, ladies and gentlemen, to talk us through the new change request functionality. Welcome, James Nelson.
Hey Paul, thanks for having me. I'm James, a senior software engineer on Street Manager, and today I'm going to walk you through the new style change requests and how these coexist with our current or legacy or soon-to-be legacy change requests. I'm going to start by submitting a new style change request, but before we begin, Paul, as you called out, the process of submitting a change request is consistent and should feel very familiar with the process of creating a change request before. So you should feel right at home if you've done that before. But for those who are new or just need a refresher, I will start and I will create a change request now. So I'm on the permit details page. I'm logged in as a planner, and you'll see over to my right, I have a list of actions. And one of these is update application. So if I click on that, that will open up a new tab and it will start off the posting of the new change request journey. You'll see that we get an overview of our permit divided into sections, and each section will have its own change link so we can just dive into the section that we want to change. But for the purposes of this demo, I am going to be changing both conditions and additional details. So if I begin here and I click on this change link, I can now update my conditions. So I'm just going to add some additional text here as well. And I'm going to click on continue. I'm then asked to update my additional information. So I'm going to add an additional bit of wording here and hit continue. I'm then asked to give a change request reason, which I will populate in this input. I'm just going to write again, test, and press continue. So I'm then brought back to my permit overview. But if I scroll down, you will see that the sections that I have just changed are now highlighted in blue. We still have our change link if we wish to go back and make more changes. And we also have these two tabs, one for our original details and one for our changes. So we can flick back and forth to see what has changed. And once we're happy with our change request, we click on submit change. And that will go ahead and submit our change request. So you'll see now our change request has been submitted and we have our change request reference number. So once we've created our change request, where do we go then to view these? Well, we've got two options. We have our permit detail and we have our list page, which we'll look at later in this demo. But for now, let's go have a look at permit detail. So I'm going to click on view application to get us there. And if I scroll down to the bottom, you will see this section called application changes, which will list my change requests. I can then click into one if I wish to view a bit more detail on it. And you'll see again, it will highlight what I have changed as part of that change request. Now, the next thing I want to show you is what happens in a scenario where we have both our new style change requests and our existing change requests on the same permit. So let's have a look at a different permit that I have created that will have just that example for us. So you will see that we now have two sections, one called application changes, which we just talked about. This is for our new style change request. So everything listed below this is our new style, while we have application changes marked legacy. This is our old style change requests. But still, if I wish to view these, I can click into the link and that will bring me directly to that old style change request, and I can view again what has changed. The next thing I want to talk about is the list pages. So if I scroll up to the top and click on works, you will see that we have multiple tabs here, but two of these are change requests and legacy change requests. So very similar to what we just seen on permit detail, our change request tab lists all of our new style change requests, and our legacy change requests will be our list screen for all of our old, or as we've put it, our legacy style change requests. A small change that I want to call out here. So in our legacy change request, we have work status, start and end date. But if you note on change request, we no longer display that. And this is because these fields are captured at the time of change request creation and are independent of the change request itself. So actions performed on the permit may update and potentially alter these properties. So you could get into a scenario where the change request tells us that the work status was submitted, but time's moved on and the permit is now closed. So we wanted to avoid that inconsistency. So we decided just to omit it. And also, because we can no longer see it in the table, you can no longer filter by work status. And that brings me to the end of my demo. Paul, is there anything else you want me to show?
Yes, well, not that you to show, but I just want to give a flavour for people of the bugs and issues that we've fixed here. And if you want to put any colour on these, James, feel free. So I'm just going to read some of them out. Change request not amending reasonable end date. Incorrect reasonable period date. Cannot request the same proposed end date in second change request after DC. Unwanted changes to work timings and work duration. So that's just a flavour of it, really. Some of them are even more complicated than that, judging by the length of the titles. But all these things, we had to change the whole basis of change requests to easily be able to make these changes. I don't know, James, if you can kind of put any meat on the bones of that, or kind of explain why it had to be that way. But we went all through it with the governance group and kind of spoke them through it and got their backing before we did this. And it was a fairly big bit of work, but it's really kind of cleaned up a number of things that just weren't easily changeable any other way.
No, it really, really has, Paul. I know we've been talking about the front end, but we've really cleaned up the API side of this and made it cleaner to create change requests. And with that alone should reduce the amount of bugs on change requests.
Yeah, thank you, James. And also, I think just lastly to say that we're working hard with the API integrators to make sure that everything switches over at the same time. So what you don't want is to be making a change request in version 2 when somebody's not switched over to that yet, and they are just looking at version 1, and it goes into a black hole at the highway authority's end after the change request has been made. So hopefully, dare I say it, a bit of a big bang when we switch over, but fingers crossed it will be pain-free. I think that's as interesting as we can make staring at an applications and works page while we talk, James. So thank you so much for doing all the hard work here. Aaron, over to you to close us down.
Thank you for joining us again. Thank you, James, and thank you, Paul, for that excellent demonstration of the new functionality. Thank you, viewers. We'll see you again on our next episode. Bye.
Bye.